welcome to Caesar's Snack Sandwich. Today I have a quick video for you on Ethos Reserve. Now this is a project that's not live yet. This is an article that I've read from Justin Beebe's from the Byte Masons. This is an idea I guess they've been cooking up for quite some time. Now this article is quite short and I've taken some liberties and some assumptions when I'm making my video. I do have a flowchart to kind of go through this with you and explain quickly what it does. It shouldn't take too long because there's not a whole lot of things that I can tell you about this. Like, it's not a very, very complicated thing, but there is enough here that I can at least, dumb it down and give you some visuals and stuff like that. Now, like I'll mention it again that there's the possibility that I've made some mistakes because, well, I've had to read this a few times and try to guess exactly what the meaning might be and so forth. So without any more explanation, let's just get into it. Let's swing over to the flowchart and see what I have there for you. If you would like to support the channel, I would suggest you to check out the secretsandwich.xyz. It's the Secret Sandwich NFT project. You can come here, you can mint an NFT, or you can come and check out your NFTs. Okay, so let's get back to it. Okay, so here we are on the flowchart. We have Dollar Bill. He has some blue chip assets on Optimism. I hear that this is going to launch first on Optimism and then perhaps on other chains thereafter. Okay, so we've got Dollar Bill. He's got some, ETH and WBTC or maybe some other assets that I'm unaware that will be supported by this protocol. The docs, there's no docs, right? It's just that one article. Okay, so let's move on. So what does he do is he supplies those assets to the Ethos Reserve and gets back the ERN token, ERN token. Okay, and he doesn't have to pay any interest in it. It's a CDP. It's like put in $100, borrow $90 worth of ERN token. Now it doesn't say if this ERN token is actually a stable coin, a US dollar pegged stable coin or not. So I'm not sure, but let's assume it is, okay? Just to make things a little bit simpler. It doesn't really have to be though, but let's say it is, okay? So he gets this ERN token, okay? ERN. And so there's also there's also places in here that I'm going to assume that, the oath token will also be collateral in order to mint this ERN token. Now you'll get into it. You'll see later why I'm assuming that this is correct. Okay, so moving on. So the first thing that this protocol is claiming to be able to do is that it's going to take the assets that you supply as collateral and it's going to put them into time-tested, low risk, as they call it, yield strategies. Okay, so some very simple examples would be like if he sends in the ETH goes to the ETH vault. The vault has multi-strategies and some of that ETH is sent to Sane to like fold up and farm those tokens. Some is sent to Granary. They talk about options markets, so maybe Lyra, and then they also talk about, they call it lending. Now that could be any possible degenerate stuff, like maybe leveraged up lending ETH, or I'm not sure. Okay, so we'll just call that degen, possibility higher risk protocols. But this won't happen until like this thing is stabilized, and I've confirmed that they're going to start with the easy safe stuff and then slowly gradually expand into more degenerate strategies if the community decides that this is something that wants to happen. Okay, so of course now, we have both vaults, all the assets, they'll have their own vaults, they'll have their own strategies deploying those capital. Okay, now the only cost for this ERN is a borrow and a repay fee. So there's two fees. There's a borrow fee and a repay fee. And if when he first borrows, they're going to take a small cut, and when he repays his debt, they'll take a small cut. That cut is sent to the people who have oath ETH balancer pools. They call it bonded oath, B-oath. Now what it is like this, you make this liquidity pool, it's an 80-20, so 80% oath, 20% Ethereum, and you bond it. So I'm guessing that will be a time lock thing. It just says bonded oath, okay? So the people who hold the bonded oath, which is like probably, like I said, like time locked or maybe even, sold, right? Will get this, the borrow and the repay fees assuming that a dollar bill wants to repay or borrow more. Okay, so those borrow and repay fees go to these oath bonded holders. Moving on. So now he's got this ERN token. He's got several possibilities. Things he could do is he could probably lend it. It says, lending. So perhaps lending on Granary. Probably Granary is going to be the place where first this ERN token will be able to be lent. And then maybe some other places in the future like Sane or maybe Aave even. Who knows, right? So the ERN token will also be able to be staked in the Ethos protocol for some juicy stuff. So what will the stakers get? The stakers will get the yield. So this is, I'm taking some assumptions here again. This is something based on what I read, this is what I was able to understand. Now it doesn't clearly say this, so again, this is some assumption, okay? So the ETH from these yielding strategies, right? They put in 100 ETH and now they have 110 ETH. So that 10 ETH, that extra 10 ETH will be used to buy oath, right, from this market. That oath will be collateralized and used to mint more ERN to give to these ERN token holders. Now, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say in that document that this oath will be used to mint. This is something I'm assuming because it says this buyback wheel, this oath will be used to incentivize these people. But I'm assuming these people want ERN tokens, and this now becomes a kind of flywheel of buybacks for the oath token. So that's finally there's something that I've seen that makes this oath token, makes me kind of bullish on the oath token, assuming that this takes, people start using this. Okay, so moving on. So it also talks about liquidations, and it talks about how this protocol is able to liquidate even regardless of the assets inside the markets. So I'm not exactly sure how this is. It doesn't explain the liquidations very clearly, but it does say that the liquidations also go to the stakers. So I assume again that the liquidations will go through this same flywheel of buy back the oath. Oath is collateralized for ERN, and ERN is given to the ERN stakers. Again, some more assumptions here. Okay, so moving on. Now, the last thing is it does say that you could take the ERN token and trade it. It says there's trading possibilities. So I assume, I don't know where it's going to be tradable. I just put Velodrome because I'm told this is going to be on Optimism. So let's say he trades ERN on for whatever he wants. He could sell it, right? Now, let's say Boosted Bill is here and he has gotten himself some ERN. Maybe he bought it from here, or Boosted or Dollar Bill gave it to Boosted Bill, right? Whatever reason, he's got some ERN. It says in that article that he can always take the ERN and redeem it for the collateral that's inside here, even though it wasn't his position, okay? So this is how the peg of this ERN token will be able to be maintained, is at any time he wants, he can just kind of buy it from the market and use it to get some assets out of this system. Now, this is a big question for me. Like, what if this keeps happening, okay? Then what happens to his collateral? Like if he's the only one who puts ETH in here and everyone else uses Bitcoin to farm this ERN token, then Boosted Bill comes along and takes that ETH, right? Then how is Dollar Bill going to ever get his ETH back? Perhaps he can't. Perhaps when he comes back to repay his ERN token, he will pay this repay fee, and he will decide which of the assets inside the Ethos reserve he wants to take. So maybe he doesn't have his own position, okay? Perhaps. I'm not exactly sure, okay? So that's pretty much it. This is based on the understanding. Now, I'm sorry I don't have a very, very clear explanation of this for you, but this is based on a small article that I was able to read. There's no documentation. There's no extensive white paper. There's nothing for me to read that would really give me a deep understanding. But I read that article and I thought it was interesting, so I decided I would cover this. So I hope this has been useful and interesting. And, of course, keep up with it, dig deeper, go and ask more questions, find out if this is something you're interested in. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.